Copy Cloner. One of the things I haven't done with Carbon Copy Cloner yet is set up a schedule to back up, because I do have Time Machine in addition to all my other drives. So what I do is just I pick maybe a day a month, and I have 3 or 4 other drives, and I just click on it and just run it and copy it, and that way I have it a copy of everything.
One of the reasons I personally use SuperDuper is it's free unless you want to do scheduling, and the pay version is $30, where Carbon Copy Cloner was $50. So but they are very similar. They both work very easy. Pick a source, pick a destination, hit go.
Right, and there's a lot of things you can do. You can scroll around and look at the different features it has on it. They're pretty good with support pages if you want to learn about something. But I just wanted to give you a very brief overview of what it does, why it does it, and just very simple how to use it, and not really getting into a very detailed tutorial about it. I think it's very easy, especially for people who are in this meeting, to just go in and if you want to check it out and use it, 3 steps and you're copying.
Thank you very much, Ken.
You're welcome.
I want to interrupt again here. I sent a private chat message to Rick because I thought he might be monitoring the YouTube stream. I haven't seen a response from him.
No, I'm not looking at YouTube at the moment.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Steve if the YouTube stream is working.
It went down for a minute and then came back up because the effing cat pulled the cable out of the computer.
A catastrophe.
Okay. Yeah, a catastrophe. Yeah.
Yes. Does anybody have any questions about?
There you go. You have to be right there, don't you?
Any questions?
I recently tried using SuperDuper to make a bootable copy, and I ran into all sorts of issues with it. I had to end up just using Time Machine and pulling in a new OS, and it took me quite a while to get things back up and running the way I wanted them to go.
Right.
That's one of the limitations of SuperDuper, is it doesn't do bootable copies of later OSs.
Okay, is that something they're going to fix? Do you know, or?
They claim it's an Apple permission issue. The last time I looked at their FAQ list.
But Carbon Copy Cloner, you click on, allowing it to be a bootable disk, so they must have.
Well, okay, I'm looking at the version 3.8. The current version does say it now can make a fully bootable backup. Sonoma, Ventura, Monterey, Big Sur, Apple Silicon Native. Yep.
Does it do it automatically?
The pay version you can schedule automatic backup. The free version you click on backup.
But does it do it bootable just automatically?
If you turn the option on.
Okay.
That's what it's supposed to. I'm not sure which version I was playing with, but I can look that up.
Yeah.
So you can never have too many backups. Your hard drive is going to die. That's a given. The hope is that both your main drive and your backup drive don't both die at the same time. But then you have a second backup drive.
I had one die the other day.
Go ahead, Charlie. Sorry.
I was getting desperate. I was going to raise my hand, but let's see if that works. The comment made earlier that if you only have one backup, you have no backup. from the standpoint of your house burning down or something like that, yes. But from the standpoint of your MacBook dying like mine did 6 years ago, no. I was able to buy a new MacBook Pro and hook it up to my C drive and load all the crap right back into it. So it was definitely in the better than nothing category.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not catastrophe safe. It's regular failure safe. Yeah.
No, but I don't have a cat.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do, if you have a safe deposit box at the bank, and you go there once a week, you can take your hard drive from your last backup and put it in there.
A lot of people do rotating hard drives that way.
No.
Now
That way
you can get
have an offsite backup.
Yeah, you can get a data fire safe from several companies. IOSafe is probably one of the biggest ones. So a typical safe is not data proof because it will protect things from fire, but not necessarily from the heat. And hard drives will melt and get damaged long before paper will combust. So IOSafe has a couple of hard drives that are inside a data-proof, waterproof safe, so that in case of a fire, the backup is saved.
And how expensive are those?
Let me find it here. They're not that much more than a regular hard drive. They have super high-end ones with massive capacities. There we go. The Solo is the one that's designed for individual. $299 for 2 terabytes. So it's physically a big box. You can go to 4 terabytes or 6 terabytes. They have video of setting it on fire, and one of the things a lot of people forget about, the heat from the fire, but then the water that your equipment is likely going to be submerged underwater, putting the fire out. So that's why you need waterproof and fireproof.
So does the hard drive run inside this enclosure?
Yes, it's got a USB port sticking out the back to you plug it in like a normal USB drive.
Okay, interesting.
And if you have here's
Why did it go up to $600? What did you select? Oh, the 6 terabytes.
6 terabytes.
Okay. All right.
So if you want 70 terabytes, that's $8,000.
Nobody wants to spend $8,000, Steve.
But you might need 70 terabytes of data storage. Is that the biggest one? So that's a 5. So it's got 5 bays, and you can hook a bunch of them together to get 200 terabytes.
What's the 0 terabytes?
You put your own hard drives in it.
Right. How much is that?
$3,000.
Oh.
So that's with 5 bays. They have smaller ones, and network drives, so that you don't need to plug it into USB. It's got an Ethernet port, so you put it on your network, and you can have multiple drives back up to it. Although, for $1,000 for 4 terabytes versus we get a 4 terabyte drive here for 400, you could buy a couple of individual drives or one bigger NAS drive.
So the question I have is, if this is supposed to protect your data, how come they have a data recovery service?
That's kind of saying that their device isn't good enough. almost.
Well,
Well, the hardware could still fail. Not due to a fire. So any drive will fail eventually. Human error. I've got a customer now. For 3 months, someone was ignoring the error message that their X-ray server was not backing up, and there was a hard drive error. So they lost 3 months worth of scans because they ignored the error message until one day the computer just wouldn't start at all.
That was not the computer's fault.
Right. Human error. Just ignoring the error message, because if you click continue, it continued and you could go in and make another scan. But it wasn't saving that scan, so you couldn't go back to it later.
I got a question about my bare bones backup through Time Machine to an external hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
If the external hard drive is beginning to fail, will Time Machine let me know that?
No. Well,
Really?
not directly. You may get errors that Time Machine can't complete because it can't write the data because the drive is
That's
failing.
what I meant. Yeah, I mean, so something will not be normal then.
Yeah.
So, in other words, when I do a Time Machine backup, when it's finished, if I click on the Time Machine thing at the top, it says latest backup and gives a date and maybe time, something like that. But if I did that kind of thing, clicked on that, it would have some kind of a message that backup failed. Well, for instance, I have had backup failure messages because I had not turned on the power to the lessee.
Yep.
So that's the kind of thing I'm asking about, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens if your IO safe has a hard drive and the hard drive gets so hot it starts a fire inside the IO safe?
What?
Then you send it off for recovery and hope they can recover it.
But what if it ended up setting fire to your whole house?
Better have good insurance.
Yep. There is a disk monitoring program called Disk Drill that can monitor the smart status of your drives. If you go into disk utility, you can see if the disk thinks it's failing, but you have to do that yourself. It won't tell you. So this smart monitor will give you a warning if your disk is beginning to fail. And then the pay version of this program can actually recover data from a failed disk. And it's got a guy in a white lab coat with geeky goggles on.
Well,
So I guess
thank you for
it all
about
comes
that.
down to how much data, what kind of need you have to save your hard drive. How much data is on it that's important to you.
We always ask
How
our
much money.
Yep. We always ask our customers, would you cry if you lost all the pictures on your disk? Well, and we're continually amazed by what people don't know and don't say they don't know. Do you have a backup of your data? And they say sure. They don't know what backup of data means. But didn't say that. They say yes, they did. Well, show us your backup. Well, what's a backup? Or I don't have any data that's worth saving. So what about your pictures? Well, yeah, I want to save my pictures. What about your emails? Well, yeah, I want to save my emails. That's data.
What about your financial information?
Yeah. What about all your documents? Yeah, I want to save that too. That's data. Everything.
I guess part of it is they don't understand what the data is that they're.
And they don't say they don't understand. So we ask a question and we assume they give us the answer until it appears otherwise.
most people don't back up.
Yeah. And those that don't back up frequently. Apple had a statistic when they came out with Time Machine originally. It's like 90% of the people don't back up, and of the 10% that do, 90% don't back up automatically. So we get that a lot too. You know, when was your last backup? 3 years ago. Okay, you've lost everything for the last 3 years.
But if you have Time Machine, it backs up everything every day, every
Yep.
hour.
They actually add there's a program called Time Machine Editor that lets you change the schedule. Apparently, um, that was such a common question for Apple that they added that into Time Machine. So now you can change it from hourly to daily to weekly on your schedule. So the average home user probably doesn't need to update hourly. You know, daily is enough. But you know, business user hourly may not be fast enough.
So I got one for you here.
Yeah, it's can get pretty bad sometimes if you're working on a document and it disappears on you, and then oh crap, I just lost an hour's worth of time.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, if I if I have something open on my MacBook, like let's say Chrome browser, and I tell Time Machine to do a backup, is it a general rule of thumb that the Time Machine will not back up anything in an app that's active at the time, that's open or whatever, or what?
Generally, it's pretty good about backing up open files. The bigger issue is a Chrome tab is not an open file; it's a website at the other end. So it
Right.
would back up the Chrome session information.
Yeah.
So when you reopen Chrome, it would launch the same websites it had open last time.
Yeah, Chrome may be a bad example for me to use, but because you know what I've been looking at in Chrome is going to be in browsing history, which I think is kept by Google. You know, I'm assuming that anything going on there is that information is stored by Google.
It's local to your computer, unless you turn on Chrome syncing to sync it to your Google account online.
If I'm again with Google apps of various sorts, if I am signed into Gmail, which I am all the time, does that basically mean that all my accounts are, you know, signed for?
No.
You know, for example, if I'm in Gmail and I go to the club's Google Drive, it does not ask me to sign in again.
That's a separate issue. That's remembering the password. But
yeah, but I apologize. I'm missing what you're trying to tell me.
the password stored in Chrome, your browser history in Chrome are only on your computer in your Chrome, unless you turn on Chrome syncing in the Chrome settings.
Yeah, okay, I think I'm following you because I have like a ton of bookmarks in Chrome on my MacBook, but I do not have the syncing turned on.
Right.
Because I can just about handle the bookmarks in Chrome on the iPad, and I don't want to flood the iPad with all that crap
Yeah.
I've stuck in it.
You can turn on password syncing separately from bookmark syncing. So a lot of people like to have password syncing on, so all the passwords synchronize between their devices.
And that might be the case with me because, for example, I use I look at my Gmail in Safari on the iPad, just like right now while I'm traveling, and it doesn't ask me to sign into my Gmail account. It acts like I already am.
It remembers you for a certain amount of time before it asks you to sign in again, just in case.
Okay.
I don't remember what that certain amount of time is, but yeah.
So in other words, I should just look for the password syncing in both in the Google browser settings and in my Gmail account, I suppose.
Well, Gmail itself, everything syncs to Google Mail. So whatever computer you're on, your Gmail will be synced because all of the mail lives on Google and comes down to your computer.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to leave, so I just want to anybody has any questions or anything about the presentation.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you very much for doing it.
Yeah.
Ken, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ken.
Hey, take care. We'll see you. I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Very good.
Okay. Bye.
Cheerio.
Okay.
All right.
Are we running too late, or do people want to hear about air tags?
It's 9:24.
I also have some Q&A I need to do.
All right, let's do the Q&A then, and we'll push off air tags till another month.
Okay. I noticed an issue in text edit. And I was using a large font at the time. I don't know if that had anything to do with the behavior I was seeing or not. But if you have a document with that large type, and let's say you scroll down and then you want to scroll back up, you start scrolling back up, and the next thing you know, you're seeing the stuff that you already wrote again and again and again. I think it's an error or a bug. If someone could try that out and
Sounds like
confirm that for me.
How big a font were you using?
I think it was Helvetica's 36 point.
Ooh.
I just set mine to 100 point, and it's working okay.
I'll scroll that
It
halfway down and
might
then
have just
start
been a display bug.
going up. I was using my scrolly wheel to do the scrolling back up.
Yep, I'm using the 2-finger scroll on the scroll bar.
I'm sorry, Rick, this was text edit in what?
Text edit, Helvetica 36 point type.
So you were just like creating a document in text edit, is that it?
Yep.
All right.
It was a long document.
What OS version?
Ventura,
Which one?
latest.
What is it up to now? 13.6? Yeah, I'm not seeing it on my Sonoma.
Yeah, Ventura 13.6.6. Yeah.
Was it a plain text or a rich text document?
Rich text.
Maybe that's the difference. Let me see what I'm in here. Nope, I'm in rich text already. Did it happen in a different document? Sometimes.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Select all, copy, close that document, make a new document, and paste.
No, I haven't done that. I could try that. That's a good idea. Maybe the file became corrupted or something.
Yeah. Something weird. Those weird display bugs are always annoying.
Yeah. And like I said, it was using a scrolly mouse button, which might be one of the issues too. Who knows? All right. Well, thank you for reviewing that and giving me some ideas.
Sure.
So if
Okay.
you want to do your AirTag presentation, feel free.
Well, I think maybe we should do it next month.
Yes,
It's
okay.
9:30 and I can see Charlie's yawning over there, so.
No, actually, no, I'm just old and my mouth hangs open sometimes. But I did, it reminded me that I had something for Q&A earlier. And I don't know if this is going to work or not. I took a picture last night, I think, outside the motel where I'm staying at night. And you know, I know that you can do all kinds of fancy things with photos on purpose if you are smart and want to and all that stuff. But I also have this attitude that tech is so advanced nowadays that just about any stupid thing I do, it will automatically correct for. So my problem was that there were some lights that were very bright. And it seemed to me like, of course, now Shirley's yawning, so maybe
Yes.
just this time to wrap it up. I won't be long here. What I was wondering is whether you'd make me presenter and I'd try to show you the
Yep.
photo, but
I did.
all right, so I'll just do the presenter. I don't know. I don't see the extra button at the bottom to be a presenter. And the
Maybe I did wrong. So let me take it and give it back. Make presenter. Okay. Yep. Now you've got the presenter icon.
that's nice because now I've also got all I got is at the bottom is this is on an iPad now.
I don't think you can present from an iPad.
Well, that's a relief, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Which is interesting because I gave you presenter, but you don't get that fourth button.
no, right. And I have down on the right hand side, I have the little circle with the screen with a slash through it that I think is supposed to be the presenter.
Well, that's
status activated notification, but it's not activated. That's fine.
that's for doing an internal presentation inside Mastermind.
Is that something like an internal dialogue or something, man? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like there's a PowerPoint is built into Mastermind Lounge, so you can make a presentation inside of it rather than using an external program.
Okay, all right. I'll pretend to understand that too. All right. Well, at some point I'll play around with the photos and see if there's editing stuff that gives me the option. Because I think my problem was, besides the fact that there were a few bright lights in a scene that was otherwise fairly dark, it looked to me like it wasn't focusing right, like distance wise. And what triggered this thought for me earlier tonight in this meeting was the mention of the LIDAR or LIDAR or whatever it is, which I think is some kind of radar that's involved in focusing, isn't it?
Sort of. It's used for 3D mapping.
So they use it for, like, say you're looking at the ground, all you see is the trees, but they can take the trees away and you can see what's under the ground without.
Yep, that's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought
It's supposed to use laser light to do it, though.
Well, that's usually radar rather than LiDAR. Because
Well,
radar will penetrate the ground, but I don't think LiDAR does.
Oh, right. Correct. Shirley's right about going through the trees, and you're right about the ground penetrating
radar, yeah.
All right. In that case, I will just not worry about it right now, and at some point just play with editing in photos and see what happens.
Yeah, it's always a problem in a night shot because it has to open the aperture up, but then if there's a bright spot, it has to close the aperture. So
Right,
it tries to do an HDR, high dynamic range. So it takes some pictures with a wide open aperture and some pictures with a closed aperture and merges them all together into one good shot, hopefully.
Yep. I am presently in Abingdon, Virginia, and at this wonderful motel I stayed at a couple of years ago. And what's wonderful about it, besides that the rooms are among the largest I think I've ever seen, is that when you open the curtains on the front window, besides the parking lot, all you see is mountains and trees. It's just beautiful.
Nice.
And where is this by?
Abingdon, Virginia, and it is in the very southwest corner of the state, right on Interstate 81. It's a very small city.
We've probably been through it then because we've taken 81 all the way south.
Yes, we've done that. Yes.
You've been by it anyway, and if you ever want to stop there, the Alpine Motel is just wonderful.
Okay. We're actually going to go to Virginia in July after our little shore leave science fiction convention and go down towards Chincoteague Island and Wallops NASA flight facility down there.
Okay.
And
Other end of the state.
yeah, going east versus west.
Yep. Okay. Well,
Well,
thank
have
you.
fun. Are you coming? Will you be back by next Wednesday? Or are you going to be still traveling?
Yes, one or the other. So,
Sound like
you know,
Steve now.
I intend to join you online, either from home or from the road somewhere.
Okay, so it just depends on where you'll be and when you're leaving to come back, right?
Exactly.
Well, have fun.
Yeah, enjoy.
I found you.
I hope you're having fun, right?
Oh, I am. I took it was kind of rainy. I was determined to, I have just disappeared. That's interesting. Oh, screen share has started from, oh,
There you are. A satellite photo of you.
can you see me waving? Oh,
Yeah.
Go
But,
back out, Steve. Go back out.
The
Oh, you've got a Roadrunner market there.
kind of rainy, so but I did have a couple of sunny days when I went for small city bike rides,
Okay.
which I wanted to do because last year I went on some bike trails, rails to trails type things, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I did GoPro videos of those, and they're beautiful, except that they're also a little boring because you're kind of in this tunnel arrangement. You just kind of keep going and green stuff keeps going by you, yada, yada, and so on. So I wanted to see if I could ride around. One was Carlisle, Pennsylvania, which I discovered a few years back. And it's
We've been
just,
through Carlisle.
Yeah, I've been there too.
it is beautiful because so much of it in the historic district is beautifully preserved. And the other thing I did was in Winchester, Virginia, and they have a nice pedestrian mall down the old part of the center of the city. However, I arrived during the Apple Blossom Festival week, and so I went for a bike ride around the city, and at the end of it, I kind of approached that pedestrian mall there, and you actually couldn't see it because it was so full of people. But anyway, you probably have heard me going on at length about trying to reprogram the motor controller.
Oh, your e-bike. Yeah.
And part of the reason that I wanted to do that was so that I could safely and comfortably ride around in cities with stop and go traffic without having the thing try to do a wheelie every time I tried to go. And that worked out very well.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Thank
Hey,
you all.
Steve, show that map again, and this time drop the little man down so we can see the view that Charlie was talking about.
That's an idea, yeah.
The joys of technology.
Alpine
Yes.
Hotel.
Really, why do we travel anywhere?
Remote scene.
I still like being there real, in person.
Me too.
It beats the picture any day.
Can't get the smells yet.
Oh, I zoomed out so far. It's taking me a while to zoom back in. All right, share this one.
Oh, the other fun thing while you're doing that, I got to tell you, is that what going from Winchester south, I went on the Skyline Drive, and it was there's the front from the road, and I'm back up in there. At any rate, that
there's
day,
the trees.
It was,
Gotta get to a clearing so that you can
I
see
don't
the
know if you
mountains.
can get up into the parking lot.
Yeah, you need to go up a hill or something.
Well, you can see some mountains in the distance there.
Yeah, well,
Wow,
and
it's really light there. It's dark here.
yeah, right. Oh, it's dark here now too. But at any rate, on the Skyline Drive, it was foggy. And so I didn't waste a lot of time at those scenic overlooks because you were looking down on the top of clouds.
Yeah.
And when I got to the end of the 100-mile drive down the Skyline Drive, there was a highway. I should have taken off to go down into the flatlands. And
There's
I
the
missed
mountain.
the turn.
Yep.
I missed the turn because I couldn't see the road on the side in the fog.
I think what we went through a couple of years ago, it was foggy too. And we had to go very slowly because you couldn't see. And the view, forget it. Like you said, you just like, where's that overlook? And you're like, I can't see anything anyways because it's foggy.
Well, the scenic overlooks are nice, but they don't all have a great view. And my understanding of it is that when the guys in the CCC built the Skyline Drive back in the 1930s, I think a lot of the timber on the sides of the mountains had been cut down. And they probably planted a lot of the trees that are now blocking our view.
That could be.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, enjoy yourself and have a great time.
Thank you.
And then riding your bike and everything, and then we'll hear back from you in a week.
I'll see you next week.
Maybe.
All right.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I can't access my consumerreports.org website. And when I was trying to research why, I think it came up something to do with my VPN, which is Malwarebytes.
Turn off your VPN and see if it works. A lot of sites don't let you use a VPN. You don't really need a VPN anyway.
Oh,
It
okay.
doesn't do anything for you that is
Okay.
worth anything. It hides where you're going from your internet provider. But then the VPN provider knows where you're going. So it doesn't really hide much.
Okay. So where do I turn it off?
In the VPN settings.
Okay.
I don't use Malwarebytes VPN myself, so I'm not sure where it is.
Okay. Well, I'll find it as long as I know
Does
this.
Apple give you a VPN?
No,
Yeah, well, they give you VPN clients, so if you subscribe to a VPN server, it'll work. And they have a couple of VPN-like services in email and in Safari. It will hide your IP address by sending all your traffic through Apple. So anyone who's tracking you thinks you're Apple.
So then Apple knows everything that you're doing.
Well, yeah. But of all the companies, they're the ones I'd trust the most.
yeah. Okay. So I don't even need, I probably paid for it.
Yeah, that's part of their paid subscription. But the other half of Malwarebytes subscription is the automatic scanning.
Mm-hmm.
So it scans all the time when you download things, rather than waiting for you to scan yourself when you think there's a problem. Yeah, so it looks like the VPN is right in the main Malwarebytes window in the dashboard.
During my little adventure about the reprogramming the bike, when I got VMware and then loaded Windows 11 into it, the first thing I did was to get Malwarebytes paid version for Windows. And then the second thing, I right after that, what I had to do was get a zip extractor. And I found one at the Microsoft store. And I downloaded that and I went to use it, and it directed me to a website, and Malwarebytes immediately popped up and said, yeah, we don't like this that much.
Zip decompression is built into Windows and Mac.
Yeah.
You should have
Well, it probably remember what I said earlier in this meeting when I said I go looking for something and somebody says, oh, your Mac already does that automatic. Well, that's very interesting, because where I've encountered this in the past is in attachments to email and Gmail.
Yep.
And there will be an attachment. I'll click on it. It'll open up, and it will say that I have to extract it with a zip extractor.
Which is true, but you use the one built into Windows and built into the Mac. You right-click on it, and on Windows it will say expand with, and on the Mac you open with the archive utility. On the Mac, if you just double-click a zip file, it unzips it. On Windows, if you double click a zip file, it will show you the contents, but won't actually unzip it. So you have to right click on it and say expand to.
I love this stuff. I don't know if I've already bored you with my description of the whole business with the virtual machine deal, because the whole problem was the software for reprogramming the bike was only available for Windows. So that's why I went and I bought the darn Windows and put it into the Mac and blah, blah, blah. The day I did that, I went to another meeting that evening, a Zoom meeting, and the guy gave me a link to how you could do the whole thing with a Mac and didn't need Windows.
Oh.
So, in other words, everything worked normally.
That's good. All right. Well, then let's end this officially. You can still talk. But
All right.
I think we want to
it's
end it.
9:45.
Yeah, I want to go make dinner.
Yeah.
Pizza bagels. I think I'm going to make.
Ooh.
Unless you were
Okay.
planning on
All
a
right.
full dinner, Shirley, at 10 o'clock.
No, I ate the pizza bagels before the meeting.
Oh.
See you next week, guys.
All right,
Right.
guys. See
Take
Good
care,
night,
everyone.
everyone.
Good
Charlie.
all.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Bye.
Trying to leave the meeting. Why won't it let me leave?
I will end it and everyone leaves.
Okay.
All right.